Boom. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Happy Sunday to you all, and welcome to another live beer review. Today, we're going to be taking a look at a beer from Main&MIll Brewing Company out of Festus, Missouri. So, I've only had like 3 beers from this brewery before, and one of them I think I've reviewed already. It's the Urban Warrior, which is kettle sour that they've brewed. And when I reviewed that one, I really liked the kind of nice balance of berries and citrus. It was a really nice kettle sour. The can art was awesome. And this one, I have a feeling might be similar. I don't know if this is going to be more like heavily fruited or not. I don't think it's going to be as fruited, to be honest. As, well, the thing is, it's going to be tough if this is going to be more fruited than the one I had before, because that one was definitely more in the realms of the kettle sour. And with this one, it may be a little bit more fruited, I'm not sure. But we got one here called Don't Cross the Streams. It's a Ghostbusters-inspired little brew, and it looks absolutely fantastic. The can art is probably the stuff that I've seen from Main&MIll when it comes to their can art, specifically their sours, have been really, really cool. A lot of detail. And I think this one is probably one of the best ones I've seen in a while when it comes to can art that appeals to me. just because I'm a huge fan of the Ghostbusters movies. So seeing the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man and the Ghostbusters fighting him and all that stuff, I think it's just an awesome can art. Absolutely fantastic. But this is a sour ale brewed with toasted marshmallows, raspberries, and lactose, coming in at an 8.1% ABV. So right off the bat, we know this isn't going to be something that I would consider sessionable, but I'm curious if it's going to be a little bit thinner, if it's going to be kind of in that realm of being like a kettle sour, if it's going to be a little bit heavier, maybe if it's a little more fruited due to the toasted marshmallows adding a creaminess to it, and plus the raspberries adding like a nice tart raspberry flavor in there. So I'm curious of what it's going to lean towards, if it's going to lean towards a kettle sour, if it's going to lean towards something a little bit heavier. So we're going to find that out today. So of course, one thing I like to recommend whenever it comes to drinking sour ales or kettle sours, fruited Blender Weisses, you name it. First of all, when you purchase the stuff, you always want to make sure that it's stored in a fridge. If you're going to buy it from a place that's already going to have it in a fridge, most likely, or in a cooler kind of situation, you want to purchase it and put it back in the fridge right away, because there's most likely going to be a little bit of fruit puree coming in when it comes to either the kettle sour or like a heavy fruit sour or fruited Berliner Weiss. So you want to make sure that's cold at all times, because if you leave it in room temp, CO2 is going to continue to ferment a little bit and cause CO2 buildup inside of the can, and that's what you see when people open up like a fruited sour, fruited Berliner Weiss, and it kind of explodes on them a little bit and starts foaming out the top. You don't want that. So automatically just keep it in the fridge until you're going to be drinking it. And then of course, when you're going to be taking it out of the fridge, just give it a couple rolls on the countertop back and forth a little bit, just to kind of get the puree and all the stuff that's been sitting at the bottom moving and being suspended a little bit. Plus, one thing I like to do specifically is when I'm bringing this beer to wherever I'm going to drink it around my house, I'm always carrying it upside down, just because it's a little bit easier just to kind of get that stuff moving a little bit more. It gives it a little bit more motivation to stop being on the bottom and kind of work its way through the entire beer. So let's crack this thing open and see what this thing's all about. I'm curious. I am curious. So let's see if we get on the nose with this guy. Definitely in the realms of it. Okay, it smells like it's going to be in the realm of more like a kettle sour. Definitely getting that nice kind of raspberry tartness. Not really getting much of the marshmallow coming through, which I think the raspberry tartness is going to kind of cut over a little bit of that marshmallow. Who knows, the marshmallow actually may balance it out, kind of give it less of a bite. So who knows? Let's pour this thing and see what it's all about. I think with color, I think it's going to be more towards the realm of being like almost maybe like a light pink, maybe like a situation like that. I don't know, but I think it's going to be a little bit thinner. So let's pour this guy. I'm going to be drinking out of my Black Horizon Brewing Company glass, and let's pour this thing. Yeah, so it's okay. So it's definitely a little bit pink in color. I think this is definitely going to be a lighter one for sure. Probably going to be more in the realms of a kettle sour, I would say. A little bit of a kind of a frothy head to it, but not much. But look at that. It looks absolutely delicious, if I say so myself. Has a slight kind of orangish kind of pink color to it. A little bit of stuff floating around in there. Probably some of the raspberry puree went through. But yeah, still getting a lot of that really, really tart raspberry up front. Yeah, it smells pretty damn delicious, and I think it's going to be super refreshing. So let's give this guy a try and see what it's all about. So cheers, everybody. Happy Sunday. Woo. Ooh, that is a tart one. Oh, yeah. But right off the bat, you get that tart raspberry that just slaps you in the face. Very, very refreshing. Definitely has a nice kind of almost wine-like berry flavor to it. Of course, it's definitely on the higher end of tartness in my scale, at least. I would say out of 5, I'd probably get this like a nice 4 out of 5 for tartness. So there's definitely a really, really good tartness to this. So it's making me think that they brewed this one with lactobacillus, most likely, which you guys know I've talked about what kind of lactobacillus is. It's a process of adding something. It's like a culture that you add into the beer right after it's been the initial boil, just to start getting it sour and all that kind of stuff. And then after you've let the stuff sit, the lactobacillus sit in there for 24 hours, that's when you do like an initial 10-minute boil just to kind of get it going again. And then that's when you're going to move it over to the Vorloff stage. And well, not the Vorloff stage, that's when you're going to kind of getting towards the whirlpool stages and all that kind of stuff. That's when you're going to move it over to the fermenter after you chill it and all that kind of stuff. So I'm assuming that's what they did with this one, because this definitely tastes like more of a kettle sour in my opinion. Definitely has that kind of thin kind of mouthfeel, more effervescent, definitely a little bit more carbonation to this one, so it's not as thick and heavy when it comes to some like the fruited Berliner Weisses or the heavily fruited sours, but overall the flavors in this one, they're still really, really nice. Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty damn good. Not really getting much of the marshmallow coming through, so yeah, you can see my eyes are starting to squint a little bit because of the tartness. But the initial marshmallow flavor isn't there, but I'm getting like almost a toasted kind of note coming through that maybe is the toasted marshmallow aspect to it. But other than that, I don't really get any like a creaminess of a marshmallow kind of flavor in there. To me, it's only getting that little bit of like a toasted kind of note with that nice kind of tart, almost wine-like raspberry flavor that comes through. But overall, it's still a pretty solid beer. I'm enjoying this one. But let's look here over at Untappd and let's see what they show here for similar beers. Because if you can't get your hands on this one from Main&MIll, you may be able to find something a little bit similar if you go over to their Untappd page, and maybe you find a beer from a brewery that is near you that may have something that might be similar to this. And of course, Dry County seems to come up a lot on these similar beer lists. So we got one here called the Swipe Ripe, which is Imperial Fruited Sour, 6.5%. We got a Cherry Lemonade from Dry County, which is a fruited sour. Let's see, we got one from Heavy Reel Brewing Company, which is called the Thick Triple Island Hopping, which is a passion fruit, pineapple, and tangerine fruited sour. Heavy Reel is located, where are they located in? Seaside Heights, New Jersey. Let's look at a couple more. Then we got one here from SJ Brewing Company. I think this is the one that I've talked about all the time. Look, this is a small batch special peach cobbler, of course. That's going to have a little bit more of a dessert-like aspect to it. And then we got one here from Pillager Rue Brewing Company called No, Colonel Sanders, You're Wrong. So, when I'm looking at this one, it's a sour ale brewed with lactose, Himalayan sea salt, and pineapple and blood orange puree. So, this is definitely... I really like the name of this one just because it's... Oh, it's a Waterboy reference. Like, no, Colonel Sanders, you're wrong. Oh my god, that's a great name for a beer. Great name for a beer. And Pillager Rue is located in Pottsville, Pennsylvania. So, to be honest, I'm kind of leaning towards this Pillager Rue just because hear me out on this one. Saltiness is going to add a little bit more of an extra depth of refreshingness to this. Pineapple is definitely going to give a little bit of a tartness, depending on if they use like pink pineapple or anything like that. Doesn't look like they probably just use regular pineapple puree. But when it comes to the citrusy, almost tartness, I think the blood orange is definitely going to give a nice kind of bright, almost a little bit tart citrus flavor coming through on this, even though the only citrusy notes that you're not really getting any citrusy notes from the one I'm drinking. But I think this is going to be a pretty close one. Other than that, maybe I want to say the one from Heavy Reel just because there's a lot more tropical notes coming through. But I think this one from Pillager Rue is probably going to be, I don't want to say it's going to be exactly similar, but there are a bunch of breweries out there that kind of make some really good kettle sours. I know Deciduous Beer Co. makes a lot of good kettle sours. Wiley Roots makes some good kettle sours. So you kind of guys look around. There's definitely a good availability when it comes to sour ales now that we're starting to get into the summer months, and that's going to be a really kind of popular style that comes through during the warmer season, all that kind of stuff. So I think come across messenger scam too, babe. Yeah, don't worry about that, Ian. Just when you get those from people, just delete the message and just go along with that, or see what. Just don't reply to it. Just don't even do anything like that. I've already had my fair share of social media hacks for the next rest of my life. But overall, I think this beer is actually pretty damn solid. It's definitely, I don't want to say there's a lot of complexity to it, even though I wish I had a little bit more of the marshmallow coming through. But overall, the nice kind of tart raspberry flavor with that little bit of like a toasted kind of note coming through is really, really nice. So let's look here at Untappd, and let's see. There's the description. There's no description on Untappd. The only description that we have here is what was on the can, which is fine. And it's pretty self-explanatory. Toasted marshmallow, raspberry, and lactose. Coming with this one. See if I can pour the rest of it in there. Yes, I can. And let's look back over here. On Untappd, it states that it's an 8% ABV, but on the can, it states that it's 8.1. But you guys know by now that Anything above like a 7.5, I wouldn't consider sessionable. So this one is definitely out of that realm being sessionable just because it's that higher ABV. And with over 462 ratings, this one has an average rating of 3.77 out of 5, which isn't bad at all. Definitely, it's a pretty decent rating coming through, but overall, yeah, I kind of see why it's in that area. That's kind of what I'm going to kind of give it for a rating. But overall, I think it's still pretty solid. It's a really nice kind of tart, refreshing kettle sour. So let's look here on my friends list and see if anybody on my friends list check this one in. Okay, this is an interesting situation because I had to purchase 2 of these because sometimes on Tavour they don't give you the option to purchase one. They most likely force you to buy 2 just because of availability and all that kind of stuff. So I bought 2 of these thinking, hey, I'll just give it a shot. Who knows if I like it. But my dad, I actually gave one to my dad, and he usually is not a fan of sour. He is right up the realm of not being somebody who enjoys sour beer. It's how he is. Kind of like Ian over here where he likes his stouts and his IPAs and his pales and all that kind of stuff. But he's not the biggest fan of sours. So he checked it in because he had a glass of it. He gave it a 3.25. But what he put here is, I'm not a sour fan, but this is tolerable. We will see if I can finish the entire can. I'm not 100% sure if he finished it, just because a lot of times if he gets a beer that he can't finish, he usually brings it up to me and just gives it to me to drink. So he didn't come up to me and have me drink it, so I'm wondering he most likely did. So yeah, 3.25 for my dad who doesn't normally drink sours. Yeah, that's not bad for his kind of rating on stuff. But let's see. Yeah. If I'm missing anything. Okay. Let's go back to Untapped and let's see what people gave this one on the global rating. Let's see. So, this person gave it a full 5 out of 5. He drank it at Toddy P's Rockstar Brewery, which it's saying it's in Grandview, Illinois. Maybe it's a bar. I don't know. Maybe it's somebody just made a location for their house. This person gave it a 3.5. Purchased at Jugs Liquor and Microbrew, which is in Joplin, Missouri. Let's see here. This person gave it a 4.5. Let's see, we got a 4, another 4, 3.75. This person gave it a 2.5, saying very sweet. Lactose is tasted. Don't really get the lactose in this one. When it comes to, you really can't taste lactose because it's a lot of times it's lactic acid or anything like it's milk sugar. You really can't. It doesn't really give a flavor to the beer. But I wouldn't consider this beer really sweet at all either. So that's an interesting check-in for that one. Let's see, 3.5 check-in on that one. Then we got another one here that's a 3.5 purchased at The Pairing, which is like a grocery store and wine shop in Kansas City. And let's do like 3 more. So we got a 3.25 here. We got a 4 saying beautiful canned and sour ale. Thanks to the name of the person who gave it to him. And the last one we're going to look at here is a 4 out of 5 purchased at the Wild Olive Provisions, which is in St. Louis, Missouri. So I'm seeing a lot of availability around like St. Louis and of course going into Missouri and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of giving me good hope on, whoa, this guy's has a very interesting color to his. I wonder if he had his sitting around longer than I do, because that's definitely a lot darker than how mine is. And looking at people that poured it into the glass, those are definitely more similar colors to what mine looks like, but whoa. So overall, ratings aren't bad on this one. Definitely seeing a lot of 3.5s to 3.75, which is understandable on this one, I think. Yeah, I hear you on that one. I hear you. So, with all that being said, let's start trying to figure out what we're going to be doing for ratings over here on our end with this guy. And of course, that's tart. We're going to look at can art first because, whoo, man, that's hit me right in the face. Because, like I said, I absolutely love this can art. I'm a big fan of the Ghostbusters, and how they did this one, making it like a Ghostbusters, Stay Puft Marshmallow Man kind of thing. I just think it's absolutely awesome. So, without a doubt, I'm going to give this a full-on 5 out of 5 for can art for me. I absolutely love this one. This is definitely one that I actually might save. Try to peel off the label if my dad didn't peel off his already. But, yeah, can art in this one is awesome. Absolutely fantastic. A lot of detail showing the Stay Puft Marshmallow getting toasted to a crisp from the lasers. Of course, it shows that they crossed the streams to get him. So, but they don't want you to cross streams because you never cross the streams. It's a life lesson that Ghostbusters taught us for years. So overall, absolutely fantastic marketing with this one. Absolutely love the can art. So yes, easy 5 out of 5 for can art for me. So let's see here. If I got this beer in a flight over at Main&MIll Brewing Co., would I get another one? That's tough. It's going to be tough. See on their website, let me see if I can find anything about, it doesn't really show what's, when it looks at menu on their website, they have, but, ooh, what the hell? Buffalo chicken ravioli? Oh, sorry. Looking at their food menu for some reason. I guess that's what I was on when I was looking at their website. But they have a bunch of options when it comes to stuff available to go. I'm not sure if they ship, or maybe it's just, okay, so it's kind of like a pickup kind of situation. So they always recommend plan a pickup within 30 days of your order. And they have a bunch of bottles over there. They have 12 ounces, 16-ounce cans. But if I went over there and had a flight and this one was in it, would I get another one? To be honest, I probably wouldn't. I like it. I would have liked a little bit more marshmallow, but overall, it's still a nice beer. I don't think I'd go out of my way to get another one, just because there's nothing really coming from this one that just like changes the world for me on a kind of, when it comes to like a sour ale. I'd probably go for like an IPA or something that I've had from them before this, or maybe a stout. This wouldn't be like a go-to, like, oh, I need to have another glass of this for sure. But overall, the beer is still pretty damn good. So, with that being said, I think my final rating on this guy, when my eyes water, you add the beer to the Is that how that goes with Tucky? But yeah, it's a tart one. Definitely a little bit of sweetness coming through, but overall I think... Ugh. So I think with this one, I think my final rating on this guy, I'm going to give this a solid 6.75 to 7. I'm going to probably lean around more of the 7. I think 7 out of 10 is probably a good kind of area to leave it. Like I said, it's not really anything to speak home about when it comes to, this is a game changer, but I love the tart raspberry flavors. I like that little extra toasted kind of aspect that the toasted marshmallow adds. But I would like to have a little bit more of like a marshmallowy sweetness to this one. But overall, it is what it is, and this is still a pretty damn solid beer. So I enjoyed it. So if you want to get your hands on this one, you might be able to find it for people that distribute around with Main&MIll, or you can ask your local liquor store bottle shop to see if they can pick anything up from Main&MIll. Maybe ask for this beer specifically, since this one might come back around for being available during the summer. Who knows? But overall, yeah, it is what it is. So other than that, I think that is pretty much what I have for you guys today. So thank you everybody in chat for hanging out. You guys are awesome. If you haven't yet, please hit that like button. It would help me out a lot. Also, if you're new to the channel and like what you see, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well, along with that notification bell. It'll let you know whenever I go live to another review. Plus, you can find me all on my other social media platforms when it comes to what I'm going to be reviewing that day. And you'll see me posting like hand checks on Instagram. Of course, you'll see other shenanigans when it comes to what I'm doing at the brewery when I'm working. I'll have reviews coming tomorrow and Tuesday for you guys, so keep an eye out for those. And of course, you can shoot me a friend request on Untappd. You guys hear me talk about Untappd all the time. It's a fantastic platform. You can check in beers, get badges, and just have a good time over there. You can see people like me, Wintucky, Duchess, Face Meat's over there, Ian, who else? Logan's over there, the Typhons, Sean and Lizzie, the Angry Hippies themselves. A bunch of us are on Untappd just checking in beers and having a good time. And overall, it's just a really, really awesome platform that I use daily. But last but not least, if you want to help me get some more beers in my hands when it comes to supporting me a little bit, I do have a Patreon available where you can donate monthly, and I usually give back to the Patreons as well, because I do monthly exclusive Illinois craft beer giveaways when it comes to Illinois exclusive craft beer. So depending on what tier you join, you have a better chance of winning a 4-pack per month. I'm going to be doing the drawing here in the next in the next few days, so keep an eye out for those. So, but if you want to join the Patreon, it's definitely an option as well. Plus, I have stuff that I'm hoping to get worked on through the Patreon soon. Maybe some merch, glassware, all kinds of stuff, that exclusive things that the patrons can get their hands on. Plus, I'm thinking about making like a craft beer exclusive Discord for the patrons. So, if you want to take advantage of all that stuff that's eventually coming, you could join the Patreon as well. But other than that, I think that is what I have for you guys today. So again, thank you everybody in chat for hanging out. You guys are awesome. Thank you everybody on the replay who's going to be tuning in as well. And I'm going to end this like I always do before we get the hell out of here. If you're going to drink responsibly. Don't drink and drive. And I'll see you all next time. Cheers.